And yeah, all right, on with the reviews. Tourist Trap is a 1979 horror movie starring Chuck Connors and Jocelyn Jones. So yeah, this is one of those good old kind of like B, or not even B, like D movie level, like super low budget grindhouse cinemas. And it's something I kind of didn't know about until like very recently. And like the cover looks pretty crazy. Like it looks gnarly, and it looked like something that'd be like really maybe spooky, or maybe like really scary. It's not though. It's really not. But the ending to this movie is bizarre. But you know what? I'm not even going to get ahead of myself. Let's just go through what is this about? What is this possibly about? So it starts out in the middle of nowhere. This guy. It starts out with this guy like rolling a tire down this dirt road in the middle of nowhere, seemingly. And I guess he has a flat, and so he's trying to fix the flat or find some air or something. We meet up with like three or four other, I guess, his buddies, that they're all going to go hang out somewhere. But they kind of get stranded out in the middle of nowhere, and they find this weird looking hut, or not even a hut, but like this weird looking store or like roadside attraction, like out in the middle of nowhere. And they kind of get stuck there, and all of a sudden people start dying. And so, and yeah, there's this guy in a mask that ends up like killing or just picking them off one by one. And that's kind of the gist of the movie. So I mean, but first off though, so when Chuck Connors kind of first comes on screen, I had this sense of like, where have I seen him before? He looks so familiar. Like, okay, I know I've seen him in something, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Right? I kept thinking I've seen him before. I've seen him in something, but then like it kind of hit me like, you know what? He looks like William Dafoe. Like, wait a minute, is that his dad or his uncle or something? Like, I kind of had to, like Google, like right then I had to like hop on IMDb or something just to see like, wait, is he like related to him? Because he looks too much like Willem Dafoe. Like they have to be kinfolk or something. But no, they just really look like each other. But I don't know, if I'm Willem Dafoe, I might want to do like some ancestry thing or something, because honestly, they look like they could be related, right? But in the IMDb, I think it was the other thing I saw that he was in was Soylent Green, and so possibly that must have been like what I remember seeing him in. But nah, he looks just. I mean, like it's kind of wild that how much they look alike. But yeah, other than that, this movie, going through it is very uninteresting in a way. Normally I do like what I like about it first, and then I do what I don't like. I'm going to flip it on this one. I'm going to flip it. This movie, bro. I'm telling you. But okay, so what I don't like about it, pretty much everything. No, but like seriously, it's very tropey. It goes through every single kind of like horror movie trope or horror movie cliche. That's not the original parts of it. Like it's very unoriginal, like in that aspect. Yeah, I was mentioning Chuck Connors, who looks like freakishly like Willem Dafoe. He is obviously the bad guy in this. Like they're not even trying to hide that. And it's actually kind of like infuriating that the characters in the movie don't recognize it. Like Chuck Connor's like 6'6", like super broad shoulders, right? And so like he disappears, and like this other guy, the killer in the mask, comes on, and he's like 6'6", with like broad shoulders. He has this overcoat on. He's like broad shoulders. He's 6'6". It's like, it's you. Come on, dude. It's you. Come on, bro. Why? You ain't even trying. but the characters, like they all act like Mr. Slauson is Chuck Connor's name. He's like Mr. Slauson, there's some guy after me, and it's just like, oh my, okay. Yeah. Speaking of which, Mr. Slauson, the killer in this, He's a mutant. Basically, he's a mutant. He has like he's telekinesis powers. He can like move stuff around with his mind. But they don't explain. So like telekinesis, like I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I've been reading it pretty much my whole life. I know about telekinesis and like its powers. You can move stuff around. You can lift people, lift objects. Okay, fine, sure. How do you make stuff talk? You can't make stuff talk with telekinesis. That's not part of its. That's not part of its powers. That's you can't do that with telekinesis. How the hell do they make the stuff talk? Like he just does, like stuff just happens in the movie and they don't explain it. And you're just kind of sitting there like, oh, okay, well this is just this is just dumb. Nobody cares, right? They just do not care, and they show you how much they do not care, like at the end. But I mean, just going through the beginning parts is pretty, like it's so like it follows just so many cliches, and it's just kind of boring to me at this point. Like, okay, so they're trapped out in the middle of nowhere, and you have these like the three chicks in here, that the three hot skinny white chicks in here. They go wandering out in the woods when you're lost in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, let's just go walk out in the woods. They find this like lake or pond or whatever, and the first thing they do, let's go skinny dipping. Right, okay. And so when the guy shows up, which of course he's going to show up, Chuck Connors, eyes, and when he first comes on screen, he just, you automatically know he's the killer. He's the, you know it automatically. Like it's just, yeah, he's the killer. He's the bad guy. But he's playing it off as this like really kind of jovial yokel or whatever. But it's like, man, he's the bad guy. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to not like about this movie, at least for me. But what I do like about this movie, speaking of Chuck Connors, he's the star here, and yeah, he single-handedly makes this movie entertaining. He is in a movie that he knows exactly what he's in, and he's just having fun. He's just going for it. Like he's super leaning in. He's just laying into the camp of this movie, like super hard. And it's fun watching him kind of have fun in this dumb movie. It's just, he totally elevates the entertainment value of this movie, just on him alone. And there is like a creep factor with this, like, I wish it was as creepy as the poster, because the poster is like super creepy, super like eerie and off-putting. But the movie's not that. But there are like parts of it that is. Like there's this house there, this spooky house there that there's like a whole bunch of mannequins like laid out there. And that's his thing too. His thing is like mannequins. Really. And he laid this house out with like a whole bunch of mannequins and stuff. And he like dressed them up. And like they're in little outfits and they're like sitting in chairs and stuff like that. That's creepy. Like that's super creepy. And I remember one of the girls in there had another like really cliche moment of, I'm going to go in the big scary house all by myself. Hee hee. And it's like, yeah, okay, just go. Can you go, please, so this movie can end? And because I guess she kind of figured like the girl, because one of the girls like died because she went in the house first. And she never came back, which is like, oh, I'm going to go in there and find her. She's just hiding. It's like, oh, man. Yeah, okay, whatever, man. Let's just get this over with. And she walked in there, and she kind of had like this whole kind of like playful energy, like come on, stop playing, stop hiding. And then she like looked around at the scenery and like all this stuff, and she kind of had that like, whoa, hey. And, I remember that Geico commercial where the guy went up to the attic and all the mannequins were sitting around. It made me think of that like immediately. And it kind of had that same kind of like, whoa, wait, what is happening? So yeah, those two things I like about the movie. I don't even know how to talk about the ending. I don't know how to start the ending. The last 10 minutes, last 10 minutes of this movie is worth the entire thing. It is worth, Like it is both the dumbest damn thing you have ever seen, but it's also the most genius. It's the most genius at the same time. I can't put it into words. The last 10 minutes of this is just so stupid. It's just, you have to see it. Like, if you're any kind of horror movie fan, if you're into like any kind of like really like old school low budget movies, or low budget movies at all, or horror movies at all, you have to see it. You just have to. And I think this movie exists off of the last 10 minutes of that. There's a character in here called Jerry, I believe. It's like, no, you don't do that. Like, okay, I mean, I am an author. You see my book right there. I am an author. I'm just starting out. I've studied the craft. I'm studying the craft still. And, I know, like, to nail a really good ending is hard to do. It's hard. That's why, like, the people who can, like, write really good books, people who can, like, direct really good movies, they are, heralded, and they have, like, acclaim for a reason. And you don't do what they did. It's like, you can't do that. Like, it's kind of like a literary sin, because it's like, you're kind of being an asshole if you do that. Like, because there's no hints to how they ended it with that character. Like, there's no hints at all. And then it opens kind of like my thoughts of like, well, is everybody a puppet? Well, how was the puppet driving? Was the puppet driving? Was he moving the car with his mind? Like, what? How, is everybody a puppet? Were the other two people puppets? Like, what? What does this mean? What is going on? What is happening? And I guess sometime in the point where Jocelyn Jones' character, who is Molly, she's like the final girl. Like, she has the total like final girl thing happening. Where she almost escapes, and then she meets Mr. Slauson again, and she gets pulled back in. That whole thing, But I love how they did with the character, because at a certain point, she kind of just snaps. And I'm there with her. I'm right there with her. Because I was just like, what the hell is happening? Like, okay, so I watched this movie. It was like Sunday night, and I kind of had a pretty busy weekend. I was helping my parents out with stuff, and I couldn't squeeze this in until like Sunday night. And I was like, you know what? Let me just watch this when I'm in bed, because I got to get up Monday morning, go to work, and I'm just sitting there watching it. And what is this hour? This is like an hour. It's like an hour 20 minutes, maybe an hour and a half. For an hour and I would say 20 minutes, I was just sitting there like, this is the worst, most boring, most derivative thing I've seen in a long, long time. And I was laying down. I had the volume like, not super high, because my wife's laying in bed like next to me, so I'm just watching this dumb movie. I'm not going to like turn it up or disturb. But the last 10 minutes, bro, I sat up. I just was like, what is happening right here? This is insane. What are they doing? You can't do that. Oh, and then they have this freeze frame of her with like the mannequins in the car, because she just snapped. And I'm with her in this. I'm like, oh yeah, move over, Molly. We both just snapping right now. Like, I cannot. I don't want to spoil it. I'm trying hard. I'm trying hard not to spoil it, because I think you should watch it. You should watch it and see this bizarre ending to this damn movie. 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. I would give it a 1. But the last 10 minutes of this is just, and plus, like, you have Chuck Connors just hamming it all the way. Like, he is into it. He is having a ball in this. And then you have all this crazy stuff happening, and it's just, nothing is making sense. Coming out of left field. And it's just, I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to watch the last 2 minutes again, just so I can just laugh and just say, like, they did this. They did this. They actually did this. A Tourist Trap. 2 out of 5. Yeah, I gotta find a Blu-ray of this. I like that. It has to. I have to watch this every Halloween from now on. I have to. Like, it's part of my routine now.